Pokemon Horizons has just revealed a ton of new content for the anime. This includes new screenshots for the series, a teaser clip from the opening scene of episode 1, and some big news about how this series will unfold story-wise. Like I've said, we've got a ton of new information to go through, so make sure you stick till the end to not miss anything. So everyone, together, let's break it all down. Pokemon Horizons Episode 1 will air next week on the 14th of April, and its title has been revealed to be The Pendant of Beginning, Part 1 and 2. This episode will be a 1 hour long special, so let's see the first look at the opening scene. We begin off with a scene of the Japanese Pokemon Horizons logo being shown above an amazing water-filled landscape. If you notice, the series logo also has something new underneath in grey, saying Liko and Roy's departure. Now this is big, and I'll get to why later on. Following this scene, we see a huge sequence of different environments from the Pokemon world with the different Pokemon that inhabit them. We see forests, seas, snowy mountains, grass fields, tropical lakes, the skies, beaches, even the northern lights. This was all so beautiful, and I really hope this series continues to use detailed backgrounds for future episodes, not just for episode 1, because wow, that would be a big step up. Also, one of my favorite Paldea Pokemon being Finizen was shown as well, so that was really cool. All of this slowly fades into the next scene, where we see Liko standing in a school uniform. The camera quickly zooms out to show Liko with a suitcase by a road. This reveals a girl sitting at the bus stop, who puts her hand out to wave. Liko, confused, slowly lifts her hand to greet this new girl, but the girl was actually waving to her friend, who was behind Liko this whole time. Liko walks past the two girls who speak, notice her, but then carry on speaking. Yeah, Liko got straight up ignored, which you can see by her unamused face. I'm assuming that with her being from Paldea, it's gonna take some effort for her to be able to make some friends, and maybe this will be a big plotline in the early episodes of this series. At the bus stop, we then see a Rattata eating an oranberry. Then it screeches at Liko, who isn't having the best time, startling her. Liko looks very worried about starting her first day at her new school. After this, the bus finally arrives. A Machop gets off the bus and puts Liko's suitcase in the back, and all of the girls get on board the bus as it drives off towards the tunnel. On the bus, the girls are watching Nidothing, one of the new Pokemon Horizon characters. Nidothing is a popular online streamer who wears cute costumes, most often seen wearing a Nidorina costume. Here, they're doing their daily streams, and we can even see Quoxley join alongside them. The girls happily laugh at it, and Liko notices that they are watching Nidothing, which she says that she's one of their biggest fans. However, because the girls ignored her earlier, she missed the opportunity to make friends with them, as they all share a similar interest. But anyways, Liko shrugs it off. The teaser cuts to a shot of the bus slowly coming out of the tunnel into the grassy landscape outside. Liko is stunned by the Kanto Pokemon roaming around the area. We also see the girls, who are also amazed by the scenery. The teaser ends with Liko struggling to contain her excitement seeing all of the Kanto Pokemon, and can't wait to see and meet all of them. This teaser has definitely got me excited for episode 1, and while watching, I completely forgot it was a teaser and I was ready to watch the whole thing. But regardless, it seems like Pokemon Horizons will be going in the right direction. Seeing as we're looking at the beginning of the series, I know a lot of people have been bringing up the theory of Liko possibly meeting Ash in a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX style setting, pretty much where we don't see Ash's face but hear his voice as the two cross paths. Now, I don't want to deny that it's not possible for it to happen, but it all depends on if Liko will be shown coming from her home in Kanto or not. Even though Ash is gone, it doesn't mean they can't still reference him or even have him make a little cameo in episode 1. So let's wait and see. Alright, now time for the juicy part of today, the screenshots. And man, we got a ton and there's a ton to dissect. I don't know if you can tell how hyped I am right now by them, because some of these look clean as heck. But yeah, let's look at them. These were revealed by the Pash magazine over on Twitter, who do promotions for different animes in Japan. The first screenshots we have is Liko picking a Pokeball from a bunch of different ones, and then we see Liko holding that Pokeball who is nervous. After this, we see screenshots of Sprigatito looking up at Liko, who is also looking down at Sprigatito in amazement. So, putting all of this together, this will be the scene where Liko meets her first starter Pokemon, Sprigatito, which I think is a great choice for her. I'm sure this scene will be a very special moment in the anime, especially for Liko, who's clearly nervous to meet Sprigatito. But Sprigatito doesn't seem too amused to meet her, which reminds me of two people. Cough cough. Alright, for the next screenshots, we see Liko outside drawing something on her Rotom phone. She is clearly annoyed at something. We then see Liko, who is now very worried, putting her arms up as if she's trying to catch something. Sprigatito is then shown on a roof with its paws out, kinda like it's falling back, and then we see Liko and Sprigatito literally falling off a building. Now, we've seen these two fall off a building before in the most recent Pokemon Horizons trailer, but the difference is that back then it was night. Here of course it is day. My assumption is for this scene is that Liko will be saving Sprigatito, who falls off the building, and this is probably because Sprigatito tried to run away from Liko. Why it would try to run away is thanks to episode 1 summary stating that Sprigatito is being disobedient and Liko is struggling to deepen her bond with it. Due to that, Sprigatito probably ended up on the roof because it didn't want to be with Liko, explaining why she was asking for it to come down with her hands. And this ultimately explains why it was falling off, as Liko definitely jumped off to save it, which is something we know someone else would do in a situation like that. For our next screenshots, we see Mollie and Orla from Friede's Rising Volt Tackler's crew. They are outside by a building, and Orla is using her Rotom phone. From the looks of it, it's looking as if they're looking for someone, or shall I say something, which I will talk about later on, as it's important. A bunch of students are shown with their bags and some suitcases chilling with their Pokemon. It's sunset, so I assume this is where everyone is just about to be assigned their dorm rooms, because the Indigo Academy, the school Liko goes to, is in fact a boarding school. In the past trailer, we did see Liko hugging Sprigatito in the sunset, so I assume while the students are getting into their rooms, this is where these two might end up bonding. Or Liko is just happy that Sprigatito is safe after the building stuff, because Sprigatito still has a glum expression on his face. After this, we see a girl sitting on her bed with her Oshawa, and Liko is shown lying down on her bed, tired or a little overwhelmed. If you don't know, we've actually seen this girl twice before in the recent trailers, once with Liko as the two were speaking, and another time where the girl was shown battling. I assume she will be Liko's first friend at the academy, and she'll probably have quite a big role in Liko's character progression and possibly her own as well. We then see Liko holding Sprigatito speaking to Amethio, another new character from Pokemon Horizons, who is a part of the organization The Explorers. Following this, we see a close-up shot of him about to knock on a door. He has quite a serious tone on his face, as if he's hiding something, which is emphasized by the shadow streaking on one side of his face. I have a theory, which I talked about more in my last video. There could be a potential connection between Amethio, Liko's friend, the organization he's a part of, and it all links back to Liko's pendant. To keep it short, I think there's a good possibility that Amethio is actually related to Liko's friend, being the older brother. When we see Amethio and Liko speaking, he's probably just about to enter their room to say goodbye to his sister. Stick with me now. Maybe when Amethio goes inside, he finds, or when speaking to Liko, he notices her pendant. Which, if you don't know, Amethio's organization will be looking for Liko's pendant as stated in episode 1 summary, which circles back to why Amethio must have a big reason to be in the organization and do something like taking a pendant for an evil team. Some of the examples I stated in my past video was of course to protect his sister or provide money for her school fees. Something like that totally fits this narrative. Yes, he could be a student at this school, which is not impossible, but I think it's unlikely due to his uniform. Liko was also smiling when speaking to him, which means he definitely didn't reveal his true goal, but Sprigatito can tell something is up with him. Let me just say, Amethio being Liko's friend's brother is not confirmed. This is just my theory, and there's a good chance that I'm awfully wrong here. But I do think this theory actually holds some weight, especially with how similar he looks to Liko's friend. All of this though brings us to the final news screenshots, and it's about the most hyped scene of episode 1 in my opinion, the night scene. The first one we see is a shot of Friede smiling as if he's speaking to someone. we next see him standing by his Charizard as if they're both getting ready to throw down against someone, because if you don't know, Professor Friede is actually called the Batting Professor. The last screenshot we see is a close-up shot of Ceruledge in battle, which looks fire as heck. I just know this scene will be hype, and here's why. In the recent trailers of episode 1, we have seen Amethio and Ceruledge battling against Liko and her starter, Sprigatito, on a rooftop. Amethio exclaimed in one of those trailers that he can't afford to lose you here, which means he can't afford to lose Liko's pendant, which I'm sure is definitely going to surprise her because she finds out that Amethio is actually a villain instead of the nice person she met earlier. In one shot, we see Liko and Sprigatito jump over a roof, which I assume is them trying to escape from Amethio, because Liko just receiving her first starter Pokemon, there is no way she'll be able to defeat Amethio here. It also seems as their escape won't go as planned because, like I said earlier, the two of them are shown falling off another roof. And here's where I think Friede will be the one to come in. In one of the trailers, Friede says, "I found you," as he comes rushing in down on his Charizard, which I believe just after he says that, he saves Liko and Sprigatito from their fall. So, you're probably wondering right now, how did he even manage to find Liko in the first place? Well, if you remember what I said earlier about Mollie and Orla looking around for something, I highly believe that something those two were looking for was in fact Liko's pendant. So, how does this even link to Friede and his crew, you're asking? Friede states in one of the trailers that their mission of the Rising Volt Tackler's crew is to unveil the mysteries of Pokemon and the world. So I think they would have known where Liko was because of her pendant. Maybe it radiates terror energy that they can detect, because of course it's a mystery in the Pokemon world. Meaning Friede just happened to find Liko just in time as the villains were looking for Liko and her pendant. Which brings me to what I think will be the best part of the episode. Friede versus Amethio. Why I think this battle is definitely going to happen is because 1. Amethio desperately needs the pendant, and I don't think Professor Friede is gonna let a random trainer who just started their journey battle a bunch of experienced villains. He's gonna protect her. 2. Friede lost the battle, and this has been stated in numerous times for promotion of the anime. So a challenge like this is a perfect opportunity for the anime to showcase its skills and love for battles. And I personally don't think Friede is the type to run away from a battle. Amethio versus Friede, Ceruledge versus Charizard, 2 epic fire types going at it, and the animation is already looking clean. Man, I am all here for it, and I really and truly hope this does go down because it'll be so hyped to see 2 strong trainers going at it. If this match really is going to go down though, I think it'll be a major character development point for Liko as she helplessly watches 2 elite trainers battling it out. And I think it's going to make her realize that she will want to get stronger herself with her Pokemon to get past challenges such as this one. Because the harsh truth is, in order to protect her pendant, she can't rely on Friede. She must and needs to grow and get strong herself to be able to defeat the villain team, the Explorers. Who do I think is going to win? I believe that Amethio and his team might have to retreat, but I can very much see Friede having to call off their match for now and takes Liko up to their airship, meaning they'll have to end what they started another time. Regardless, I'm super excited for this new anime. It literally looks like they could be taking a more serious and darker tone with the story, kinda like XYZ, which I know a ton of us loved. But that's not all for today, because I still haven't told you the meaning behind the new Pokemon Horizons logo saying Liko and Roy's departure. Thanks to Anipoke Fandom and Cerebi on Twitter, it was revealed that Pokemon Horizons will be divided into several parts, and as the story progresses, the subtitle will change. This means that the anime will be having arcs. Yes, everyone, you heard me right. The Pokemon anime will be having arcs again. And this is something so many of us have wanted and have missed from the Pokemon anime, because Journey's pretty much said, nah, we're not doing that. And I'm so glad that this series is going in that direction. So far, everything looks like a big green tick in my eyes. Just imagine we could be getting a Victory Road arc with Nemona, a Starfall Street arc with Penny, a Path of Legends arc with Arvin, anime original arcs like mini tournaments, raid den stuff. We could even getting an Area Zero focused arc, a Teal Mask and Indigo Disc arc in the next years as well. The possibilities really are endless, and it's just so exciting and promising to think how far this series could go and exceed our expectations. Hearing all of this makes me believe this anime definitely has the potential to be one of the best, alongside the Ash Ketchum series. And you never know, if things turn out like this, it could just be the best series so far. But let's wait and see. Pokemon Horizons Episode 1. I cannot wait to see this unfold and for the series as a whole. It's all gonna be so hype. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for all new future Pokemon anime related content, like the new Pokemon Horizons anime coming up.